I used to be super into politics. If you expose yourself to a lot of news, mainstream news, you end up thinking this politics stuff is actually really important. I've come to understand that honestly, it doesn't matter for most people because it won't affect your life. I mean, aside from like inflation, whatever, that kind of stuff does affect your wallet. And I saw a TikTok where someone made a stitch of someone else explaining like inflation. I think they're lying to us about inflation because why aren't prices going down if the inflation rate goes down? And the guy had to do some math on some cardboard explaining prices never go down because inflation rate is just the rate of change. It's the change in the value of the currency, not direction it's going. Well, I guess it could be the direction if it was negative, but inflation has never been negative. I can understand why people might think negative inflation might be a bad thing, but basically money gets more valuable over time. And so it incentivizes people to keep it, which means it's not used. Because it's like, why don't I just keep, if I know that my money is going to be worth more over time, then why wouldn't I just hold on to it? And so you can see how like a lot of mainstream, your standard economists might think, oh, that's a terrible idea because it would kill production and commerce. At least that's the idea. I don't know if it's ever been tried, but you see this happen in asset bubbles and stuff. Like, why do people hold gold or Bitcoin? I mean, that's all the same thing. It's like, will the price of it go up? I don't think it needs to be negative, but what if it just didn't change? Like, I guess for economy to grow, you need to incentivize people to use the money. And if holding the money is a bad thing, and that's what a lot of people actually believe, then, that's why inflation exists. 2% was the standard, but, these last COVID kind of messed everything up, and then more money printing and kind of fucks up everything. But I don't know. You feel the pain in the grocery store. So that's the only context in which politics might matter in your life. Like all the drama, who's going to jail, who's getting accused of, none of it matters to your life, at least. In the grand scheme of things, you might say, okay, there was a shift in power. People might write history books about the impact of whatever event. But when you're in it, it ain't that big a deal. It's not affecting your life, especially if you live in a smaller town where you're kind of insulated from this stuff. It's not something worth worrying about. So maybe consider not making it your entire life. I don't know. That's just me though. Like I used to be super into politics and I realized like one, it turns you into a negative and bitter person because all of it is negative. And yeah, you get occasional wins, which are small, tiny dopamine spikes that keep you plugged in, like a little hit, and then you're back to your negative state. So it's not something I recommend.